Live.
Cool. We are live. Hey
Cool.
Mike, before we like jump in today, why don't we uh why don't we talk about your experience in the Catskills last night, dude?
Oh man. So this is a good one, guys. For I've been now that I'm really back on my feet and just trying to plan more little micro adventures, right? And just getting out and doing the things that I've delayed myself from doing for so long. And I hit up my buddy the other day and I said, "Hey man, there's this lean-to, which is a primitive shelter. It's an open face shelter, about an hour south of where we both live in Albany, New York. I'm home right now visiting my parents before Costa Rica, and so we drove down last night. We finished work both around 5, and we met down in the Catskills, and we drove to this trailhead. And when you pull into the parking lot, there's no one there. I mean, it's an absolute ghost town. It's Thursday night in the Catskill Mountains, and
Yeah,
not many
dude.
people even know that's a mountain range. So we hike in. It's a mile and a half, and as we're hiking in, it's pretty much pitch black. My buddy doesn't have a headlamp. I've got a headlamp. And,
Classic.
yeah, classic. And we've been
Just
walking
hiking with
for
his iPhone.
yeah, totally, totally. And as we're hiking, it's been almost an hour, and we still haven't found the lean-to. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if it was there or what. But we came up on this clearing, and there was a camp sign, and then we walk up, and we say, "Oh, maybe the lean-to is probably right here." And sure enough, that we see some headlamps flashing in the woods, and there was people at the lean-to, and we're just so confused as to how, with no one at the trailhead, how there's people at the lean-to. And so it's 8 o'clock at night at this point. We're getting pretty hungry, and so we find this clearing. We go to the clearing. We were like, okay, well, at least we're gonna have a fire. There's a fire pit here. The wood was soaked because there was a hurricane that came through the Northeast recently, so we couldn't light a fire. We gave up on. We burned through all the newspaper. We just gave up on that, and and then we just ate some beans. And anyways, we try to go to sleep that night, and just after I had I had probably one of the worst sleeps of my night of my life last night. I got like 2 hours of sleep, but we woke up in the morning. We had coffee. Every good morning starts with two things in the mountains: coffee and jumping in a cold stream. And now I'm back here. Was home by 9 a.m. and we're doing this Facebook Live. We're going to talk about the growth mindset. So, um,
Epic, dude.
yeah,
That's
it was a good one.
that's a great lead in. You know, you live really close to New York City, right? And it's like this hustle and bustle and grind, and a lot of people are fixed in this belief that they have to grind through to get to the weekend before they go on an adventure, and that closes them off to the abundant opportunity to go on micro adventures that are within an hour of their house.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we just start today by talking about what is mindset. I mean,
Yeah.
we hear people talk about mindset all the time. It's the name of our group. A lot of people might just think it's all about staying positive and optimistic, and
No.
but like what is mindset really, Mike?
Mindset is the way that you view yourself, life, and really the world at large. It's your way of thinking. It's your worldview, and this is a really important thing, because what you believe is your reality, right? So if you believe that life is competition, that everything that you do is going to be competitive. Everything, everything is going to feel like a competition. You gotta outperform people, and that comes with consequences, right? If you believe that life is always about competition, you're always going to be acting. You're always going to be, trying hard to prove yourself, and relationships aren't going to feel more like flow and like peace, right? So, yeah, mindset is essentially the way that you view yourself, life, and other people. It's your belief system. Wouldn't you
Hmm.
say so, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's everything that encompasses my relationship with myself, right?
Yeah.
My internal thoughts and beliefs, which lead to the actions that I take in the world. And if they aren't in alignment with who I truly want to be or who I truly want to become, I create a life that I don't really want to be living. So,
Scott,
uh,
just to kind of jump on this, because I told that story this morning, and I thought
yeah,
about it on the way out. And I would say the old me would have been so frustrated from not getting the
mm,
lean-to, from not being able to light the fire, from having a horrible night's sleep. I remember like being awake at 2 o'clock in the morning in the woods,
mm,
and I'm just the trees are just like, you know. And the old me would have just been, oh, come on, like, I should have gotten better sleep, and blah 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 blah. And it was really more of, wow, this is just, I'm so fortunate to be out here, and this is just an opportunity to just grow. Like, it's been a super uncomfortable couple hours, and I'm not going to get any sleep tonight. I'm cold, and we didn't get the lean to, but so what? What an opportunity just to become more resilient. And it's not that my way of thinking is right. It's just my mindset,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, and I mean, you showing up to that lean-to and it being occupied could have been absolutely the ruin of your whole adventure. A lot of people would have just turned around and gone home.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, why don't we talk a little bit about the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset? I mean, this is another thing that comes up a lot, and if we aren't aware of what the distinct difference between the two are, it's pretty easy to actually fall into a fixed mindset in one area of our life while we're growing in another area.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about growth, and Scott, maybe you can talk about fixed. But
Yeah.
a growth mindset is open. I think that's probably the one of the biggest things to say, is that someone with a growth mindset has an open mind. And I think a lot of the times that we think about open mindedness is being this hippie, spiritual, I'm a vegan and I meditate, right? A lot of times that we think that it's an identity, and open mindedness is not an identity. It's just a view of the world. It's being open to the fact that you could be wrong, that your belief systems could be wrong, that the things that you're doing aren't actually working, and that there's actually another way to improve, that there's other ways of thinking, right? It's a growth mindset is looking at the world and people around you as not competition, but more about, how can I learn from you? What can I learn? It's recognizing that you don't have all the answers, and that's a good thing, because you can grow and evolve for new conditions and improve your relationships, money, career, health, mindset, all of those types of things. It's
Mm,
someone who's looking to expand, right? That's I would say, one of the biggest ways to think about a growth mindset.
absolutely. And just, I mean, fixed is quite literally just the bipolar opposite of that. And I mean, when guys feel stuck in the muck and feeling like this is just the way it is, and this is just the way that it's always been, and therefore it will never change, that's an example of a fixed mindset. Uh, it's also just like closed off to the ability, the opportunity, the invitation to accept help and guidance from others who
Yep.
might actually be living or creating something that you desire to create, thinking that I have to go at it alone, I have to go at it my way, I have to grind and hustle through the bustle to make this thing happen. Fixed mindset really keeps us, essentially, as the word says, fixed in our ways. And if our ways of being and thinking and believing and behaving are fixed from our childhood, even when we're 25, 35, 45 years old, we
Mhm.
may still in some areas be acting like a child. But stepping into this growth mindset that Mike talks about paves way for this invitation, this opportunity to grow and create an abundant and admirable life that's in alignment with the dreams and the vision that we've defined for ourselves. So,
I think the scary thing about a growth mindset is that a lot of men, because we've been told that, the guy carries the torch, he's the leader, he's the
mhm,
breadwinner, you got to grind, I think a lot of the times men take on so much responsibility in their life that with the growth mindset, it scares them, because sometimes you have to admit that you're wrong, and that the things that you're doing aren't actually working for you anymore. And a lot of men, struggle with that. We don't want to admit when we're wrong, and
mm,
really it's a superpower.
mm,
And you have to reframe the context of being wrong. It's not a moral right or wrong, right? That's not what that means. And it's not school, where when you're wrong you fail and you can't graduate and get your diploma or whatever. It's not that. It's more of wrong in the context of, is this actually helping you anymore?
mm,
And if it's not, let go. You know what I
mm.
mean?
Absolutely. And this is a little bit off topic, but it's related directly to what you just said. And I want to talk about logarithmic growth, logarithmic results. which essentially looks like this. It goes up in the beginning and then it flatlines. And what you
Mhm.
said is like, what I've been doing may no longer be working for me. It got me to this plateau or this flat point, but it's not going to be the same thinking, believing, acting that will get me to whatever the next point is in my life that I desire to get to. But what happens so often is we get stuck believing that what we were doing that got us up to here are the same actions that are going to get us up to here.
Yeah.
And that just couldn't be true. This is where, hey, I might have a growth mindset down here, and I do all the things that were in alignment with that growth mindset down here that got me up to here. But if I stay right here, I get stuck in a fixed mindset all over again.
Yep. And so would you say a
So
lot of the times that when guys were saying, oh, I'm feeling stuck in my relationship, I'm feeling stuck in my personal life, a lot of the times it's just because of a fixed mindset.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mike, let's talk about a little bit about developing a growth mindset and just a few things that guys could take from today's video and go implement in their lives right away and start changing their reality. And I think the first one we talk about is just awareness and choice. And can you talk a little bit about what it means to become aware of our mindset and choosing to step into a new belief system?
Totally. So the awareness is the foundation for all change. It's so important. It is the foundational point. Without awareness, you cannot change anything. How can you change something if you don't know a problem exists, right? So with awareness, you want to become conscious. You want to wake up to the way that you want to understand yourself, right? And a lot of the times we think that understanding ourselves is knowing our strengths and weaknesses, right? That's not understanding yourself. Understanding yourself is understanding how your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions directly impact the results that you experience in your life. And so the way that you do that is you start to become conscious, you start to become aware, and you look at the thoughts that are coming on a daily basis, the emotions and the actions that you're taking. Start to take stock of the way that you think and the way that you speak and the way that you act and the way that you're going about your life. Write these things out. Humans are programmed in three major ways, Scott. We're programmed from verbal programming, from the things that our family and our friends and our mentors have told us throughout our life. We're programmed through modeling. How did maybe around money, your parents were super tight with money, so now you're probably super tight with money, right? That's just one example. And then specific incidents that have happened in our life that we remember deeply in our memory, right? And that have influenced the way that we have gone about in the past. So let's say, for example, someone got into a car accident, they weren't wearing their seatbelt, right? A memory that you remember. So for every time that you get in the car, you make sure you buckle the seatbelt. I'm just using that as an example. So once you understand that these are just things that you have learned, they are not the truth, but they are things that you have learned and they've influenced your programming, you can realize that you are actually separate from them. This is the awareness. We are actually separate from our thoughts. We're separate from our emotions, although they feel like they're a part of us. And that's why people say, this is why my buddy said to me yesterday on the hike, he goes, yeah, dude, I'm just a high strung guy. I'm just wired that way.
Hmm.
He just believes so much in his past. And he believes so much in kind of the way that he's been programmed. But the reality is, he can become a very peaceful person. And he actually has been over the last year. He just hasn't really accepted the change. But guys, if you want to go into this on a deeper level, this is day 1 of the 5-day challenge. And I'm going to be teaching this for an hour. I'm going to be giving you resources on how to become hyper aware of your programming and how to change it. So if you haven't signed up for the 5-day challenge, please do that. I just wanted to throw that in as a quick caveat, Scott. This is all day 1. This is literally all day 1 right here.
Yeah, and there's a link to the 5-day challenge in the description of this video above. It has all the information, how to sign up, where to sign up, what we're going to be talking about each day. It's only an hour every day, so we're going to go live for 1 hour every day. If you can't make it to the live session at 12 p.m. Mountain Time each day, there will be recordings that are posted in the Facebook group so you can watch them at your leisure. Maybe instead of watching that late night TV show, you watch something that could actually grow and improve your life.
Totally.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about one more thing about developing a growth mindset today. And that's just shifting our beliefs, actions, and creating new results in our lives. Essentially creating a positive feedback loop. So once we become aware of the thoughts and the old programming and the old beliefs and behaviors that are essentially running our life, 98% of it actually on autopilot from our subconscious mind. So we're taking that which is subconscious and bringing it to the conscious, becoming aware of it so that we can change who we are. And once we've done this, we can then start taking new actions in alignment with our new belief system and start creating new results in our lives and remaining conscious of that loop, conscious of the different thoughts, the different actions that we're taking that are creating a different result in our life, has the ability to create a positive feedback loop so that we continue doing the positive actions that will take us from the plateau that we're at to our next level in our lives. So, Mike, we talked about two things today, two things that guys can do to start developing a growth mindset. And they were just becoming aware of what's going on in our mind with our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions, and choosing to step into a new version of ourselves. And then actually taking different actions, creating a different result. Do you want to share anything else about the 5-day challenge that's starting tomorrow at 12 p.m. Mountain Time, man?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of guys in. It's all high-performing adventurous men. So we got a little private community going on in there. You're going to be able to watch the trainings and then do a Q&A with Scott and I, which is, guys, I mean, we got a really tight group here. We're going to be able to answer all of your questions and maybe things that you've been, thinking about, ruminating on for the last year or two, or maybe you're feeling stuck on. Showing up to this and getting wins and moving the needle. Now is, guys, really, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Now is the time to seriously take action and not wait for things to go back to normal. That's not going to ever happen. We are in a new world, and it's time to be a new man, right? And learn some new skill sets and new tools and be surrounded by new people. It's a superpower. So we just love if you've been interested in what we've been doing, just show up and get some wins. Get some wins under your belt so that the people you love can be positively impacted.
Brilliant. So guys, again, there's a link to our website above in the description of this video. We would love to see you in the 5-day challenge. It is going to rock.